2025 wasn't just another year, it was a mission. Enable, empower, and be present. Today, over 40 million users use Mexi, placing us among the top platforms in futures and spot markets, and the world noticed. Recognition followed across regions and industries. Our Zero Fees initiative became a standard, one that put real savings back in users' hands. User protection sits at our core, backed by dedicated insurance and guardian funds. Today, we've supported 16 projects through our $300 million ecosystem fund. And with the launch of the Mexi Foundation, we began investing in the next generation of builders and communities. Across more than 150 events in over 40 cities, our global exposure grew. Every booth, every handshake, all delivered on the same promise of security, zero fees, and trust. Behind every number are the people who made it possible. We didn't just connect markets, we connected people. The stage is now set, from zero fees to infinite opportunities.
And we are live. Thanks for everyone tuning in today. Today's special guest speaker is Aervin. But you know what? Instead of introducing himself, I'm going to let him do it for himself. Thank you very much for making time today, Aervin. Could you kindly introduce yourself, please?
Hello, William. It's a pleasure to be here, to be invited on Maxi live chat. And yeah, I hope you would all learn from the first Web3 Internet Cafe and from me. I've been in the space for 9 years already, turning a decade soon. Across my stay, I have done about 20 meetup events of my own to educate our community regarding the pros and cons of crypto, and I have contributed and worked with over 200 cryptocurrency projects, creating insightful reviews and work with the team side by side. Last year, I have built the first Web3 internet cafe in the world, written on a piece of tissue initially. And after a year, I reached ROI for the business. And this year, successfully, I roll out the full Web3 integration of the business and launch our reward token, enabling us to be a fully token gated internet cafe, all features accessible via tokens. Using Web3 products to date, we did 28 tournaments, all of which is free to play, 5 Web3 game launches. We have done 2 Web3 product launch, 2 wallet tutorials, 1 token launch, and soon we will start our gaming course. And as of the moment, we are rolling out token distribution and finishing touches to our full features using our tokens.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for making time today yet again. And I do have a few questions, but before we get into my list of community questions, I'm sure some people in the audience are probably wondering, what is a token gated Web3 internet cafe? I love seeing how like more and more crypto related businesses are coming in and really bringing in from the Web2 space to, of course, the on-chain Web3. Could you kindly give us a very simple understanding and introduction of what does that mean to be a token gated Web3 cafe?
So it's like a normal internet cafe where users can come in, rent a PC, and yeah, they play their games. Token gated internet cafe, I have decided to integrate tokens in this business because I believe the Web2 business, internet cafe business, relies on foot traffic alone for revenue. And on Web3 side, there's much volatility happening. So with that in mind, I made this token-gated internet cafe on which regular users can still come in. We still have revenue for the business. And on the other side, on the Web3 side of things, we introduce Web3 products on which our users can enjoy the benefits of Web3. As you know, Web3 products offers a lot of upside potential to users, via their token rewards. And with that, because we have this business, we have this community, tech savvy community, we have this hardware ready to use. Our users can come in, play some Web3 games, earn rewards, and join tournaments as well using, yeah, in the first Web3 Internet
Using the
Cafe.
tokens you have. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, great, wonderful. Now that we made that established that, let's just jump into the community questions we have. I'm just gonna pull up the first one. Here we go. So let's just get this started. So the first one, by the first question: when someone brand new walks into your Web3 cafe, what are they most worried about when it comes to the safety of crypto? Because I'm sure a lot of people, especially in the bear market, everyone hears like, Bitcoin is dead, everything's going to zero, it's dangerous, you're gonna get hacked, you're gonna touch that, like your money's gonna disappear. Like, what are the most common things that people they come into your cafe and they're really interested in Web3 and blockchain and cryptocurrency, but like they're worried about that thing? Do you see a pattern there? What is that main standard common issue that you tend to see in your new users?
Yeah, yeah. When I look at the first time user walking into the first Web3 Internet Cafe, I don't see a crypto user at all. I see a human being standing at the edge of something unfamiliar. So in the first Web3 Internet Cafe, our community do not worry. As a matter of fact, they are all excited and thrilled about crypto. And this year alone, we have done several game launches. They have played Web3 games. They have tried to create their wallets. And none of them is worrying or worried about crypto. And they are mostly excited about the benefits they can have uh, using crypto. Um, they are excited to interact with Web3 products because of the benefits. And yeah, with my guidance, I I told them the pros and cons of having this. They need to be self-aware. They need to be secure. Yes.
Wonderful, absolutely. I think every neighborhood could actually definitely use a Web3 cafe, especially in certain areas that I'm thinking about right now, because I when I always walk past some of these really big phone companies, and they actually have like these special tutorial lessons for like the elderly, teaching them how to use like the smartphones and how to download an app and interact with them. I always imagine that we're gonna have something like that for Web3, for like crypto lessons, for for those who haven't yet to be engaged with the whole Web3 community yet. And I think that you owning the first token gated cafe, Web3 cafe in the whole world, actually really is that first step towards helping people, especially those who are not familiar with it, and the younger generation, to really be exposed to this new technology. All right, great. Let's move on to the next. I got like a whole bunch, so we might as well just like jump through. All right, so from what you have seen, what are the biggest mistakes beginners make that end up getting them hacked or scammed? And hopefully there hasn't been too many cases on your end, but I'm sure you've had people who come up to you and be like, "Hey, what's going on? Why can I not see my assets in my wallet?" Do you have any of those horror stories on your end? Is there anything is there any particular pattern that you see when you're helping out with your customers?
Yeah, personally, fortunately, I was not hacked or scammed or anything. But on my perception, users get hacked or scammed because the environment is not yet designed for their level of awareness. From what I have seen on the ground, beginners don't fail because they are careless. You know, they fail because the system expects them to act like experts on day one. Now, let us think of bad actors. There are people who maximize the mistakes of others, which is unethical. You know, Web3 is great, to be honest, a lot of potential, but because of bad actors, The name is tainted and the good ones suffer. Look at FTX. It greatly affects the perception of the crowd towards Web3. What was once good is now considered evil. Imagine one wrongdoing, one single organization brought down the entire market to the mud. And here we are now, building from the ground up. We are teaching users. We are reaching out to potential partners and potential educators to help educate more users so that we have a better ecosystem ahead of us. So that's what we do in the first Web3 Internet Cafe, to bring the confidence back to the people, just like you, Mexi, is doing right now.
Absolutely. You know what? I have not thought of FTX until you brought it up with it, but yeah, that definitely was a big dark age for the crypto
Yeah, yeah,
industry. Like I think what was that? That was like the age where what Mr. Gary Gensler was still in power. I
yeah.
think there was a lot of very interesting times during that FTX arc when we all actually went through a few years ago. But you know what? I think especially those who was starting to get into crypto and Web3 now, I think that's like they're really in more like more or less the golden age, because they don't have all of that is pretty much kind of like rung through, right? So wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. Let's move on to the next question here. What do you do to help new Web3 users to stay safe when they first interact with Web3 protocols and or games? Like especially like a Web3 cafe, I'm assuming you have a lot of like younger users who, they want to get into the games. At the same time, they're like, "Oh, well, might as well I can actually make a pretty penny or something while enjoying a
Mhm.
game." Like what is something that you tend to tell them to, like, they really have to be a little bit cautious about to really make sure that they're playing, enjoying Web3 in a safe way?
So what we do differently inside the cafe is, this is more than onboarding for me. Our role is to stand beside our users at the exact moment of confusion happens. I remember last February when we are doing a tournament, I opened a computer on which everyone who will come inside can use that computer for free. So I pre-installed a Web3 game and our users get to play it to whomever who wants to play, participant of the tournament or not. Everyone got the chance. So everyone was playing until someone asked this. As he scrolls through the settings and he see, what is this wallet, kuya? He told me. And I told him what it was, what are the benefits of this game. And after that tournament, I have conducted a wallet tutorial for them to play that game, to use their wallets, on how to safe keep their wallets, to write it up on a piece of paper to be much more secure. So yeah, be there when confusion happens. So that's what I do when first time users interact with Web3 games or product, so that their questions are precise, because they really need to know about it, because they are the ones using it. And yeah, they will be able to digest technical information so easily, because when you are throwing cryptocurrency jargons to users who don't know what's the benefit of it for them, they will get confused, and sometimes, if not most of the time, they walk away because they are so confused. So that's what a physical space changes. It replaces isolation with guided awareness.
Guided awareness. I like that choice of words. I really do think like education is really the point here. Without it, it's just so easy to mess up. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I was just playing around with like MetaMask just like a few weeks ago, and I think like you can actually what was it? They actually require you to sign up with your email now, so you can actually log in with your email. I remember like it was like I'm not sure. It's been a while since I touched MetaMask, but the last time I did it like a year ago, they didn't need an email account. So I just like to see how so much improvements and user interface, but of course education, making things a lot more simple, guiding the user step by step. I think that's really the right way to go because like how do you expect someone to really intuitively understand what a
Yeah,
seed phrase is, right? Yeah. All right, wonderful.
absolutely.
Let's yeah. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think like the only challenge, I don't know how you guys do deal with it, but like how like when someone's actually setting up the seed phrase and it pops up, like do you tell them to like go in a corner? Do you like walk, take a few steps back away, let them write it down, and then you go back?
Actually, since this is an internet cafe, when they are trying to log in on a wallet or register a wallet, I make sure the computer is secure of virus, and then I make some space for them to have their own privacy. So we have computers here on my side, on my back. So yeah, on this side as well. So yeah, this is where the gamers play. Right now, since I'm doing an interview, I make this space free. Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. I always thought that was a really interesting point. You gotta look over your shoulders when you write that seed phrase down. All right, great.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next community question here. Okay, we got this one. Running a Web3 internet cafe, what have you learned about how people actually behave with wallets and security when someone is guiding them in person? So you're there, you're trying to help someone, set up their own wallet. What is that one thing that you really notice, like how people really behave? Are they anxious? Are they concerned? Is there some specific question they tend to get stuck on? Is there a particular stage where you really think like someone like just those who are in already of versed into the Web3 experience that we should really know about to really help our like family members and friends to really get into Web3? Like, what's that one thing that you really notice from your experience?
So they are not anxious, but they are more cautious. But along with that, they are more confident that when something happens, I am there to guide them and teach them. Because without guidance, users either move too fast and get burned or freeze because of confusion. Again, we are seeing first time users, and the first time users have the same interface as a 10-year expert in the field. So yeah, we, as much as possible, we don't expect them to act like us. We guide them along the way, and with the right presence, they ask better and extremely specific questions on how to be safe, on how to navigate this, on how to send their wallet address.
So you said
And
that like you said they sometimes would like move too fast and then get burned. Do you have like an example of that? Like what would be a case of like someone like, oh, like I just kind of skipped this important part and then like they kind of mess up afterwards because they're moving too fast. Do you have like a
yeah,
common
yeah,
example you tend to see?
of course, of course. Last week I have done a token launch event. So
Mhm.
I stated the usage of our rewards tokens here in the cafe, and a user installed a wallet with my guidance, but he skipped to save his seed phrase. So I have about 10 users installing wallet at the same time, and I guided them through. But one user skipped to save his wallet. And now he filled up the form and sent it to me. So
Oh no.
yeah. So he don't have a password for his address. Now the problem is if I send those tokens, like I have sent a portion, like I tried one each first, a trial to see if they received it, and they will open it again, and if see if the wallet reflects on their wallet, the balance reflect on on their wallet. And unfortunately, he was the one who is not able to open his wallet. Good thing I have done a trial, And yeah, maybe next week I will check again if they have kept their seed phrase. I will do a check, check tokens, check their wallet if their balance reflects on their accounts. Then yeah,
I see. So it's more like the educational aspect in terms of like learning how to check your wallet balance through like Explorer, the block Explorer to just double check that it's been sent. I think those are really, really basic things that a lot of people don't realize that it's
yeah,
so rudimentary and important. And it's not doesn't seem as basic as it seems, right? Because you go on a website, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to Google search something, but instead you're supposed to put your like wallet address there. It's not really intuitive, but I think that really is an important step that a lot of people might just skip by accident. Really makes a really good point. Interesting. All right, great. Let's move on to the next community question. In your opinion, what is one thing the crypto industry really needs to fix to make it safer for new Web3 users? So you have a whole bunch of like new people checking out like new Web3 games, blockchain crypto games, and they're trying to figure out like, okay, how do I interact with this game? I want to play the game, but I also want like, I get these digital assets and what is that one thing that you really wish like the whole industry would really improve upon to make like a web3 web cafe run a
mhm,
lot more successful, a lot more smoother, a lot more easier?
yeah. As for me, since I'm the founder of the first Web3 Internet Cafe, I'm kind of biased. So I will say establish a trust point for Web3 like this. So Web3 is immutable already. We can create interface so that users can understand, human readable to make it easier. But as I've
Which
said,
part would you recommend like making it easier, like in what which specific part are you saying, like something like the wallet interface part, or is it like the block explorer, or is it like the speed? Are things just not fast enough? Are people just being anxious and waiting? Like which specific aspect would you really hope the industry would really work improve upon?
the yeah, I think we need to have this some kind of trust point for Web3,
A
something like
trust
a
point.
yeah.
What do you how do you define, like what do you mean trust point, like as in like a point of trust where someone can verify that what they're receiving is true, or how do you define what do you was there another can you give me an example of what like a trust point that you would hope to have?
Yeah. Yes. Trust point is like, when you to start trusting someone as a human, we have these emotions, and once we touch someone, we can be able to distinguish if it's harmful or not. So a touch point on where users can enter and interact with Web3 personally. Something like this, the first Web3 Internet Cafe, where users can safely interact with Web3 because they can see the people who is doing it. They can prove that the
Oh,
location is there, that
got it.
the project is not running away because
I
we are
see.
staring at a blank screen where we send our money and we don't know who is on the other side. So when we have these establishments, just like banks, like you trust a bank to hold a lot of money because they will make sure to secure your money better than you. So if we have that, we can trust Web3 better. That's my point of view on this.
I get the gist of your answer, thank you. um Yeah, I get what you mean. It's kind of like, oh man, I had this one experience buying a plane ticket. I'm not going to mention which company because it was a very bad experience. But long
Mhm.
story short, they did not refund my ticket even though they messed up. And the thing is that specific travel agency did not exist. They didn't have like a subsidiary in the country that I was living in at the time, and I could not take them to court. I could not take them. I went to the government for some help, right? But then even the government told me like they can't do anything because it's not a company exists within the country that I was residing at the time. So like compared to, and when you mentioned banks, that was a great example. Since the bank is there, it's like it's a
Yeah.
local, like there are people there. It's a low physical space. It's a local company. You can go there. If they screw up, you can actually sue them. You actually know exactly, where to go and talk to the customer service. You can actually call the cops on them if you want to.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like when it comes to Web3, if it's a Web3 project, you got their token. Like, who are they really? And are they even vetted? And then even though if you check like the vetting web page, they might not even be real. Like I remember watching this one Web3 company. They just like randomly grabbed people from LinkedIn to get their LinkedIn links,
Mhm.
and they just randomly took like Hollywood star photos as like their profile pics. And that, okay, even though you might look at it at a glance, like, oh, that looks pretty trustworthy. They're real people, but they're not. I get your point now when it comes to, that whole trust point. You actually, I would almost go so far to say like, I wouldn't say it's like a trust, like necessary need that you can actually trust it. I think if I would have to rephrase it, I would almost go so far to say like to the point where you don't need to trust because it's 100% like guaranteed, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, but there is that because you trust it so much, like you don't need to trust it, right? So hence what we call it trustless. But yeah, I get what you mean. It's like, there's that point where you don't even have to worry about trust because it's like it's not even an issue, right? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I get what you mean. Unfortunately, I think that we're still kind of far away, like until well, I don't know. Like we're starting to see like some banks start incorporating crypto assets, right? So we'll see how it works with XR. XRP is going pretty well with banks these days, and in terms of global remittance, right? So, but I think we're still have a lot of way to go until you know actual like big banks would actually be responsible for some of these digital assets where we can trade. All right, wonderful. Let's
Yeah.
move on to the next question over here. This is the last one we actually have from the community. So, from your experience running a Web3 cafe, what would be your most important advice you would give to someone interested in Web3, but they haven't jumped into the crypto
Mhm.
rails yet, and they're still buying stocks and gold, which is totally great, but maybe they're interested in diversifying, maybe they're interested in they're playing games, but they see some kind of crypto related games and they're interested in doing that. What would that one advice be for everyone out there who's really interested in Web3 and crypto, but they haven't really jumped into yet?
Yeah. My most important advice to anyone entering Web3, to all of our community here in the First Web3 Internet Cafe, to all listeners who can reach this, I will say don't start with money, start with understanding. Yeah. So I have three things to tell you. First is treat your wallet like your savings, even if it's empty. Just like here, we just launched our tokens, and I told my community to treat this like gold, even it's basically uh, priceless. So it's not listed anywhere. Um, Treat this with value on what you deem valuable. Don't share your seed phrase to anyone. Don't mindlessly send your tokens to others. Treat your wallet like your life depends on it. And I have this acronym, MAU. So move slow, ask for assistance, and we are here. Move slow to understand the interface of whatever Web3 app you are interacting with, and read prompts, read instructions as much as possible, ask for assistance. There's a lot of educators in the space who is willing to help you. You just need to find them. I bet Mexi is also educating their own users about this, and you just need to reach out and learn from the expert, because being a beginner is kind of daunting to everyone diving into the world of Web3. And we are here. The first Web3 Internet Cafe is here. Mexi is here to teach and guide you always. And lastly, never let urgency override your clarity, because there are some incidents where users lost a lot of money, millions, you know last week, I mean, maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, this we have this cow protocol incident where a user click swap anyway, swapping his $50 million and
Was it
swapping
the Ave
it.
one?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
mentioned talking about the Aves. Yeah, they're it's hard. It's so I can't even blame Ave because they did give that warning, right? That
yeah, yeah,
the slippage issue, and they were using. I think they were using like the Ave's new new wallet, and it's still like an experimental stage. But then, hey, they did have a warning, and unfortunately, someone did not understand how slippage worked too well. Like if he only swapped maybe a smaller amount and kind of make make sure like the it actually goes through, or
yeah,
check the liquidity, but we all make mistakes, but $50 million mistake is one too many.
yeah. Absolutely. It's like a huge amount. Some of us just dream of that money. It's like swapping a mansion to a lemon stand, and yeah, don't
I'm
let.
horrified if I lose like $300 when I get liquidated for $300, or I can't even imagine like $50 million. It's
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little
I
too
don't know
much.
what's the guy doing now. It's a really life-changing amount. And yeah, don't let urgency override your clarity. So that's the main point. Take things slow, you know.
I like that phrase. Don't let urgency take over your clarity, and I think that's something that a lot of people should really pay attention to because whenever there's some kind of like panic online, like some kind of new like token listing on a decentralized exchange, and everyone's having issues trying to get like their transaction through to actually swap for that new token or something, and everyone has like issues or something. I think that's when all the scamming vultures come out and they pretend to be like tech support on X, and they message you pretending to be like, the tech support from that project. And then they send you this link telling you
Yeah.
to enter your C phrase on the website. I remember looking at that once. I'm like, I have no doubt some poor naive guy is just naive enough to actually
Mhm. Put his
follow
seed
the
phrase, yeah.
instructions. Yeah, and they'll actually enter their C phrase into that website, and the guy will lose all his funds through his wallet, right? But and these scammers, they just need one naive person to fall through for that night, and it's a win for them. And
Yeah.
so I really do think.
I have encountered a lot of those
Oh, did
incidents
you?
too. Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think that's like the worst.
I have worked with several launch pads, and someone pasted this fake contract address with this fake ticker, you know,
Fake
and
t-
then they enter Pancake Swap and they trade their money there, and it's gone. They have
yeah,
approved it. So
you see
yeah,
a lot of those on Pancake. For the guys, I love Pancake Swap, and nothing against them. It's just that there's a lot of not real tokens
yeah,
pretending to be the authentic ones on Pancake Swap. That is, you guys just have to be so careful. Don't FUD into one of them. Even though if you want to, just you have to double check the the
contract
real
address.
smart contract, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
address on the website. If it's not the same, don't do it, right?
Don't do it.
But yeah, you made a really good point. Pancake swap, man. It brings back so many good and bad memories. Like overall good, but one bad memory just kills it all, right?
Kills it
Yeah,
all.
but you know what? I really do gotta agree with you. There's just too many like vulture scammers out there. My mom like called me the other day asking me like she was on Facebook watching like just like reels, and then she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I think there's something wrong with my phone." And I looked at it was like she was just looking at this one reel saying like, "Click on here, your phone's being attacked." I'm like, "Mom, this is just a video. Don't click on this. It's just trying to you know just scam you, to go to this specific website and do something." And she had no idea, right? And she's like, like early 70s. So I really do think education really does play a part to really keep everyone safe, to make sure that these scammers don't win the end. And I'm so glad that you out there running the first Web3 cafe out there, really helping educating people to make sure that they don't fall into these traps.
Yes, absolutely. And to
Awesome.
those bad actors, please refrain from doing those bad deeds. We are all making a living, and we are just, Web3 in general is good. Maxi is good. Dapps are good, you know. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad actors who are getting advantage of those newbie users, or maybe experts, you know they
There
are.
are
Yeah.
the good news about that. The good thing about that is, guys, the law enforcements, they're getting smarter. The
Mhm.
governments, they're learning how to use block explorers. They're getting really good at it. For those who may not know, right now it's 2026 right now. It's not back in the 2008 when everything's still the wild wild west. So if you're gonna be acting, you better be responsible, because
Yeah, yeah.
uh, Big Daddy is watching over. Anyways, wonderful. Thank you very much for your time, Arvin. Do you have any last minutes for the Mexi audience, for the Mexi community? Anything last words you'd like to tell them before we end?
So everyone, thank you, Maxi. Thank you, William, for having me here. To everyone, I am inviting all of you to the first Web3 Internet Cafe to use Web3 products, to play Web3 games, to join tournaments, um, to also interact with other gamers and users. This is a place of education, and yeah, we are hoping to onboard as much users as we can. Here alone, I'm doing my best to network with other businesses, and hopefully we can onboard at least 1 million users, and then we can go grow from that. And yeah, more power to Web3. And I hope that Web3 products today will survive and have a good business.
Great, absolutely. So for those who are listening, people who are actually getting Web3 in the first time, we do have Mexi Learn. Definitely go check out the website. There's a comprehensive guides to teaching you all the basics you need to know about crypto. Definitely just go, feel free to Google Mexi Learn, and you'll find out the website. That being said, definitely go check out Aervin as well. He's on X. You can follow him there, and you'll find out more about Web3 cafes. If you have any questions about that kind of business model, you can always, I'm sure Aervin is open to call communication. Feel free to give him a quick shout. That being said, thank you very much, everyone, for making time tonight. For those listening, I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Have a good one.